Okay, so welcome everybody to the last transformative meditation of 2025. So let's just close our eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in, pause at the top of the inhale. Have a sigh out. Again. So we'll just use a few movements just to release any tension from the upper body. So let's take a twist to the right. So if you're against the chair or the bedboard of the head, you can pull yourself around a bit more. And let's use the sigh on the breath out. And change directions. Support yourself in the twist so you can really wring out the back. Back to center. And then it's just a little bit of spinal movement. Inhale and exhale. A bit like cat-cow. Good, spine nice and straight. Let's rotate the head one way and then the other. Check that the jaw's relaxed. We're not holding tension in that area. Good, now tuck the chin down. Gently rotate. Be careful with the neck vertebrae if you've got things going on there. And notice whether the body wants to naturally sigh out. Let that happen. Lovely, change directions. Lovely, and back to center. So I'm going to ask you a question. So I was working with this in class this morning. And it came from a brilliant YouTube channel that I watch, which I shared with some of my groups. And the question is, how is your spirit? So feel into that. So remember, we have ego, which is the meat suit, the body vehicle, the senses, our memories, emotions, mind. And then we have spirit. And we're often thinking a lot about all the ego existence. But actually, it's really, really vital that we spend a lot of time connecting to spirit in order to raise the vibrational energy. So just bring the left hand to the heart space. And I want you to imagine as you inhale, you connect upwards. So you go up to the crown chakra, up to the 8th chakra, and then all the way up into the 9th. And remember, there is only one 9th, and we all share the 9th. So take your attention as high up as you can as you breathe in. And as you exhale, just surrender into the exhalation completely. Breathing in, going upwards towards spirit. And as you breathe out, allowing yourself to surrender into the exhalation. And really getting that sense of surrendering everything that the ego is, which is the stories that we keep repeating, and we hold them in our system because we retell them all the time. And then we create these habitual patterns of behavior that keep us locked in cycles. So just observing all of it as this play, a cosmic play of the universe played out within the individual form. And I want you to smile to the heart space where the individual particle of infinity resides. So this particular lifetime's experience of the soul. And just checking in again. How is spirit today? And as you just keep connecting into spirit, and within that connection, there'll be that play of ego. Well, how does my body feel? What's going on emotionally? But spirit, how is spirit feeling? When you give spirit attention, it really wakes up. And I'm just going to read a beautiful verse from the Vijnana Tantra. So if you've got the Radiant Sutras copy, it's verse 26 in the Yukti verses. And if you've got the Vijnana Tantra, it is 49. So this is the Lauren Roche translation, which is a very beautiful, poetic, Californian style translation. So as you notice how you're feeling, how is spirit today? The one who is at play everywhere says, there is a space in the heart where everything meets. Come here if you want to find me. Mind, senses, soul, eternity, all are here. Are you here? So allowing that deepening into the heart space, that huge cavern. Enter the bowl of vastness that is the heart. Listen to the song that is always resonating. Give yourself to it with total abandon. Quiet ecstasy is here. And a steady, regal sense of resting in a perfect spot. You who are the embodiment of blessing. Once you know the way, the nature of attention will call you to return. Again and again, answer that call and be saturated with knowing, I belong here. I am at home. And with that deep sense of feeling into spirit, bring your right hand to the second chakra. So remember, our second chakra is often out of alignment. It drives the fight and flight response into the adrenal and the kidney area. And this practice switches it off. So I want you to breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 6. As if you're breathing your awareness down into the right hand to the second chakra. And be aware of that sense of spirit talking to its energy vehicle, the luminous energy field, and telling it that it's safe, it's okay to relax. So as well as the fight and flight mechanism within the body, there's also the memories of being much younger and how often we didn't necessarily respond in a brilliant way to stress, but it was the way that we responded to things. So have a little bit of a conversation with your younger self and say, I've got you, you're safe. You know, sometimes we weren't parented in a way that was helpful, or it didn't support us as well as it could have done. So it's now our job to do that, to support ourselves, so that we can start to change the ancestral trauma, the 7 generations of trauma that get carried within us. So breathing in for 4. Let's extend the exhalation to 8 now. That sense of totally surrendering, letting go, giving the body complete permission to relax into the moment with the breath. And feel that sense of the smile at the heart space, the recognition of that beautiful, divine nature that we are, living in the earth suit, the physical vehicle. Notice there's a slight pause at the top of the inhale where the breath curves slightly. And then really slowly, consciously breathe out for 8. If 8's comfortable, I'm going to invite you to try a count of 4 in and 10 out. So using that really long exhalation to release any tension that's vibrating within the vagus nerve. So it's coming down into all of the organs and clearing those cycles and patterns out. Notice how the inhale, the nostrils are very open. It's a dynamic breath, so it's the sympathetic inhale, sympathetic system. And then that pause at the top, observe the exhalation. So when we're exhaling for much longer, we're not necessarily exhaling for more amounts out of the lungs. We're just breathing out more slowly, which has a profound effect on the nervous system. Good. Now, if you feel comfortable, increase the exhalation to 12. So as we're doing this, the breath is becoming quieter and quieter on the exhalation. Be aware of the pulse of the heart, like an internal metronome, helping you count the rhythm. Good. Now just release the hands. So I'm going to work with Savitri Pranayama now. And we'll work left nostril, right nostril, and both nostrils. So I'm going to use the 6-3-6-3 Savitri, which allows us to balance our emotional body. So take the right hand and just very gently close the right nostril. Breathe in to the left nostril for a count of 6. Hold the breath in for 3. Breathe out for 6. Hold the breath out for 3. And again, keep going. Notice any tendency to want to rush the breath. Just notice what's going on. When the mind wanders off, bring it back, just observing the count, the sensation of the breath. Switch sides, gently block left, breathe into the right. Good. Now bring the hands together in Hakini Mudra. So you've got this space between the fingers, but the fingertips touch. Focus at the tip of the nose. Breathe in to both nostrils for a count of 6. So go slowly. Pause for 3. Breathe out for 6. Hold the breath out for 3. So just balancing the hemispheres and the nervous systems with the hands in this position. Notice if one nostril is a little bit more dominant than the other. And I want you to focus your attention on the least dominant nostril so you can bring them into balance. Lovely, and release. Now bring your attention to the center of the chest. So we're going to move into the Tonglen practice now, the transformation meditation. I want you to imagine this beautiful light that is indestructible. So this spiritual aspect of ourselves that has always existed and it will never cease to exist. It's infinite. And this is where we transform the energies. So let's just start to give the breath some texture. So as you breathe in, you're breathing in a dark energy towards the heart space, but it's like a fuel, so it can't attach itself to the heart space. It's just transmuted by the light. And then as you exhale, you send out light. And the more you bring in, the bigger the expanse of the heart space is, like putting more logs on the fire. So breathe in this darker energy. See it instantly transformed by the light. And as you exhale, imagine pushing out white light into the world. So the heart space energy is where we transform things. It's also a bit like a lighthouse. So it guides other people with our light when we shine it into the world. But it also guides us back to our true self. Just try to keep the mind focused, the inhale, the exhale, different texture, different color. So when we work with intention of transformation, it's very powerful. Seeing that energy, the darker energy that represents suffering, into healing, which is the light, as we exhale. Good. Now we're going to start to work with our own healing, because we can't work to help other people if we don't fill our cup up regularly. So let's fill up our cups and let them overflow. So bring your attention to your body, awareness of it, and be aware of your own suffering, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Just observe on all of those levels. As if you're watching a play. So we're not going to attach to the stories, we're just observing what's present in our life at the moment that are challenges that make us stronger. And then as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you're sucking in all of this energy directly into your own heart space. And as you exhale, you're going to pour light into your entire bodies. So not just the physical body, but the luminous energy field. The layers of the energy that radiate outwards, a bit like a Russian doll. So as you inhale, drawing in your suffering, the stories that are attached to that suffering. And filling your own body with light. Really feel from a place of intention, this energy following the thought, the process. Just get to the point where you can fill your entire bodies. So there's so much light, it's outflowing into the world. Let's just work for a few more really well-focused breaths for yourself. Lovely. Now we're going to work with a loved one. So I just want you to take a little bit of time now. So when I said loved one, you might find that a few people spring to mind, and that's fine. So somebody that you find it really easy to be with. So it could be a family member, could be a friend, colleague, just somebody who's a loved one who you find it really easy to be with. And take your time to settle on one person to work with. And then just really visualize them. Notice what they're wearing. Where are you with them? Can you sit beside them and hold their hand? It's as if you're taking your luminous energy body to them to work with them. And just sit down next to them and notice what their body shows you in your mind's eye. How does their body show suffering? What do their eyes look like? Often when you look into somebody's eyes, you can see the suffering, an expression, maybe in the lines of their face. Notice emotional suffering, mental suffering, and how it shows in the body as well in their speech. And as you sit there, imagine that this suffering is just slowly pouring out of them to form a cloud of smoke between you and them. Just take your time with the imagination. Just allow them time to release this dense energy field within them that causes illness and disease. And we're going to transmute it. And when you feel ready, you're going to breathe in that darkness towards your heart space. Notice how it immediately gets transformed into light. And as that happens, your heart space expands as well. And send out light to them. And as you exhale, you're setting that intention for them to be well, to find a path of healing for themselves, to be filled with the light of love that is in everyone's heart space, spirit. Notice how the face is maybe changing a little bit. They look a little bit more at ease. Be aware of how expansive your own heart space has become with this ability to transmute the denser energies that we label suffering, trauma, disease. Their energy forms. And let's focus on 3 more really well-focused breaths. Hold your attention. See them in your mind's eye, sending them love and the wish for them to be well. Lovely. Now we're going to move to somebody we find it difficult to be with. So I find this personally the most powerful aspect of this practice. So I want you to find somebody that you find it really difficult to be with, and this can be a loved one. It could be a work colleague, could be a friend perhaps that you've had a falling out with. And again, take your time. You might know instantly who that person is. And remember that we are all mirrors to each other. Stay with the breath. Feel the light at the heart space. And bring this person to mind. So this person might be somebody who has done something to you that's been really quite hurtful. And that doesn't mean to say that they don't need to rectify that in their own way. But we have to see their behaviour as a form of suffering, because it is when people behave in ways that are not very nice, challenging to be around. Maybe there's some violence to it. And see that person maybe from a distance. And I want you to notice their body language. And really notice also what it is that triggers you. And see it as an expression of suffering. And when you feel ready, seeing their suffering pouring out of them, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Remember, if these people behave like this all the time, it must be pretty stressful for them to behave like that in a place that isn't peaceful. They can't find any inner peace, so that they express their struggle outwards towards others. So stepping back from the drama and just feeling. And when you're ready, breathing in the suffering. And sending out a genuine wish for them to be well and to find their own spiritual journey to healing, to the truth that we are all connected. We're all part of that ninth chakra, the great consciousness, divine energy. Notice the heart space getting more expansive each time you add a little bit more fuel to the fire of the heart. And sending out that wish for them to be well, to find happiness and balance in their life. You know, notice the subtle change, not just in what you see with them, but also how your feeling about them has subtly changed. And that doesn't mean to say that you're suddenly going to become best friends with this person necessarily. But maybe you can view their behavior from a different perspective. Is that we all suffer and we all know fear. And perhaps you can see a future scenario where they're behaving in that way, and rather than you being triggered, you simply say, "Are you okay? Would you like a cup of tea? Or do you want to chat?" And sometimes just that recognition helps them soften, because they're often not aware of their behavior and how it's damaging them as well as other people. Or maybe it's allowed you to set a better boundary, and that that relationship is not something you're going to pursue. Just feel into it. Notice how it impacts your own body. Just a few more breaths. Observing the power of that energy to transform with love. Doesn't mean to say you've got to be best friends or you've got to rescue them. But you can step away and just acknowledge that there's stuff going on with them. It's not your responsibility, though. But we can behave differently towards them. Lovely. Now we're going to move to a familiar stranger. So a familiar stranger is somebody that you see regularly, but you don't know the names, you don't necessarily speak to them. Maybe somebody you see in the street regularly, somebody who serves you at a supermarket, local shop, maybe somebody who shares the commute with you. So you don't necessarily know their name, but you could recognize them. And I want you to notice their suffering and how it shows on their body. So when we're all wrapped up in our own individual egos, we think it's all about us. But actually we all suffer. Everybody does. And this plays out, this drama plays out in the world. So notice the suffering on their body, how it expresses itself on their face, their eyes, their body language, their verbal language. When you're ready, be aware of a cloud of suffering. Breathe it in. Transmute it with that intention of the beauty of the heart space, that divine light that we all are. And send out that wish for that person to find their own path towards truth. The truth that none of us are separate. We are all connected to the same light of consciousness. Notice people who have to live on the streets and how challenging it is, because not only do they have to live on the streets, but people ignore them. Maybe next time somebody approaches you, then you have a conversation with them. Ask them how they are. all of this connection to others, when we truly recognize it and we recognize ourselves in everybody, we can start to move to a place of peace in the world where there is balance, harmony. Lovely. Now let's start to work within our own circle here tonight. So visualize us all sitting in a huge circle, and our luminous energy field is now expanded so much that we're touching each other from a distance, wherever you live. And we can feel each other's energy. And just have a sense of breathing in the collective suffering and sending out the light to fill the world, each other. And then I just want you to bring your hands up into this mudra, palms faces up, and feel a sense of energy pouring into you. And then start to push your awareness out from the circle to incorporate your neighbours, whether they're above you, below you, all the way around you. Maybe they're, maybe you live in a flat, a house, terrace house. Wherever you live, be aware of the presence of others within your vicinity, and then push your attention even further out into the village, town, city that you live in. And then push it out even further into the country that you live in. And then expand it out even further. So your awareness is holding every country in the world. All beings, including Mother Earth herself, who is sentient. And she is the mother of all of us. And we need to help her heal. Be aware of all beings, the plants, the animals, those that live in the water and in the air, on land, the trees. All beings, beings with bodies, beings without bodies, be aware. And when you're ready, breathing in the suffering of the planet and exhaling light. And feel our collective light connecting to form this huge ball of light around planet Earth. And a genuine wish for our intention for the planet to be healed, for Mother Earth to be clear of the impurities of the air and the water and the land, and for us to live in harmony with all beings, with each other. And when we all are able to recognize ourselves in everyone, we will be able to get to that place, and we can dream a new world into being. Just feel a sense of holding the earth in love, in balance, in harmony. When everybody forgives and we're grateful for the lessons learnt, and we move forwards without resentment or blame. We take responsibility for our own actions, our own consuming habits. And we all have our own roles to play on making the world a better place. No matter how small that is, it still impacts others in a positive way. Good. Now we're just going to sort of bring our attention back slowly towards ourselves now. So bring your hands slowly in. Feel the energy in the palms of the hands now that we've all connected. The fizzing sensation at the hands. Bring the hands to touch the heart space. And feel that connection to spirit. How is your spirit today? Really feel into that question. The one who is at play everywhere says, there is a space in the heart where everything meets. Come here if you want to find me. Mind, senses, soul, eternity, all are here. Are you here? Enter the bowl of vastness. This is the heart. Listen to the song that is always resonating and give yourself to it with total abandon. Quiet ecstasy is here. A steady, regal sense of resting in a perfect spot. You who are the embodiment of blessing. And once you know the way, the nature of attention will call you to return. Again and again, answer that call and be saturated with knowing, I belong here. I am at home. Bring the hands into Namaste. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. And as you bring your light, share it down through the chakras, illuminate the body, and bow your head to your heart and really recognize that we are spirit. Our primary self is spirit. And Namaste.